equation to figure out how to actually construct two shapes.
So at this point, what are we actually saying?
We got off the beaten path by theories. All I'm saying, I was responding back to what you said about if you conspiracy theories, you're like, I suck. I said, not really. People,
you think everything is against you?
No, that's not necessarily what a conspiracy theorist does, right? Just because I think it's a conspiracy don't mean it ain't true.
Salute to that.
Just because you don't think that something is, they not plotting something don't mean they not plotting something.
Salute to that.
Believe they're not.
Salute to that.
I just tend to think that they are based off of their track record of things they have done. Like, this doesn't come from out of osmosis. I would like to think my government is for me. It's not against me. It's in my best interest. If I look over, I'm 37. If I look over the last 30 years of shit they've done and scandals they've been caught and enthralled with against the public, what's my consensus as a logical human?
So why are you still here?
But the government is the biggest.
Why are you still here
in these particular stories?
You don't want to go to like another country, or?
No, that's a very general question. What do you mean? Why
was that a general question? Why, if you feel like you,
I'm gonna tell you like, okay,
if you feel like
you mean here in America.
No. If you feel as though, if you feel like
I'm gonna tell you,
you start off as black this and black that for 30 seconds.
I'm gonna tell you, like, this white dude asked me. I'm in Seattle. He's like, well, if you think this is a bad country, why don't you go to Africa? Motherfucker, I'm broke. I would have thought that was obvious.
I've said that
was obvious.
I mean, talk to me.
If I had capital, I'll go. If I had capital, I'll go.
I'll go.
I agree. When I say I'm broke, I don't mean I'm penniless.
Yeah, we know.
I got a place, I got a car, I got money.
You don't have capital. Like I said, it's capitalist.
To go to another country, one, I got to get citizenship. That's not free. Even in Ghana, where they're proposing you can come there, it's relatively cheap, but it ain't free.
Right.
Two, I need it. While I'm going through this process, I need a house. Now, unless I'm going to put my game down real quick with Ubuntu and live in her little 3-bedroom apartment that she may or may not have, right? And be giving her the buns while, while I'm trying to work through the process. Meanwhile, I still need to work because eventually she's going to want me to contribute. Fuck giving her money, contribute, because she got to eat. And I got to eat. May I remind you, I still have to eat while I get to Ghana or Africa, whatever part. So the clock is running when I land. Food, water, shelter. Need all those things. They're not free. So I need money. Now, somebody can say, well, you can save the money up here. Yes, I can. And it's relatively a lot compared to if I go there.
Right.
I ain't no millionaire, so it's going to run out.
Right.
And there's always what if this doesn't actually, the stall period. What if I don't get citizenship readily? Because I need citizenship to get a job.
Right.
So what if this shit takes another 6 months that I had not calculated? So this all takes money. So I told the white dude, I thought that was fucking obvious. I'm broke.
Can I make some? I want to say something before we go too far in this. At one point earlier in the day, I want to just change the subject here. You said that there's a difference between Western science and
holistic.
I guess something else. If we're gonna call it holistic for time, can we talk about that a little bit?
Go ahead.
Hold on, I never said that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was.
I said
right. So
I said that's how people feel. I didn't say I specifically ascribe to it.
If we have no beef with understanding that there's no Western science, I want to make sure we're just clear with this.
So you believe in it? So you fine with vaccinations?
No, I'm against them because I don't like putting foreign chemicals.
So what do you do?
You put foreign chemicals in your body every day.
I mean, wait, anal. God damn.
No, I'm not. Hold on. This is my shit. This is my shit. No. What I'm saying is this. No, and this is why I said it has to suck to be a fucking conspiracy theorist, because you are so, as a human being, you are so vulnerable every single day of your life.
Okay.
You got motherfuckers walking around here talking about they got fluoride in the water, so I can't do this. And I can't, like, bro, I know people who work in mental health who say there's a parallel between conspiracy theorists and insanity.
It is.
And that's been proven.
I agree.
No one has it.
That's been proven.
Let's talk about that. No one has it. I can give you a theory that people said in 1985. Black folks were saying in California, and even parts of New York, yo, white people, government officials, the police are putting cocaine in.
Of course, but come on, that's basic. That's basic.
Hold up, before it was confirmed in 1988 by the indictment of Freeway Ricky Wall, Blandon, and the indictment of fucking Oliver.
Yeah, Danilo Blandon.
Before all that, you know what the average person said, white, black, and the other? Oh, yo, you crazy, man. You conspiracy theory.
But let's be clear.
When it was
confirmed, but let's be clear. There's 1,000 other ones that were not.
That's still a conspiracy.
Hold on, let's just go with the known. Before all took place and they confirmed it, and 32 people of Reagan's cabinet was indicted.
Right.
Charged and convicted.
It was on the streets. It was conspiracy.
It was just conspiracy, right?
I agree with that.
So But it happened to be true. So all I'm saying is...
Exactly. It so happens to be true because there's 1,000 other conspiracy theories that are not true.
But
it emboldens the regular person when they see one of their theories to come true. It emboldens them to think erroneously that all these other ones must or could be true. It's just not enough evidence yet for us to prove it.
My conspiracy theories do not come from like the typical person believing that if you become rich or successful, that you did a blood oath, right? Well, some shit I can't prove.
But there are a lot of people that do.
Yes, and those people should be disregarded. I'm not conspiracy theorist in the sense that...
Let's talk about the one today. You said pandemic. That this conspiracy is a planned process. This is your conspiracy.
Why is it not?
What do you mean why it's not? We already explained that the disease is not... It is spontaneous. We agreed upon that, right?
Okay.
That it actually exists.
And most of this information has come from, like, maybe I'm biased, but it has come from white scientists.
Well, it started in China, so it started in China scientists. They're not white.
Same thing. They're not black.
But they're not white.
We know they don't. They're not really. I don't know. Admirable of the black people, black race.
Which
they don't. They've actually done shit against black people in their country.
So let's talk about hydrochloroquine. The one Nigerian doctor who was African.
She was advocating for it.
Trump didn't take the hydrochloroquine because when he got the disease, right? No. In fact, the guy, the Nigerian doctor, the woman from Africa,
he took remdesivir,
some of remdesivir, dexamethasone, or something like that, right? But that's an African doctor. Name me an African doctor. I guess let's go to African because you don't believe in China or Russia or white. Which African doctors do you follow?
I don't follow none, and that's a logical answer for that.
Okay.
I don't live in the continent of Africa.
But we're globalized.
I don't research them. Just because I don't follow,
So how black are you when it comes to black then?
I mean, I don't have to go to another continent to prove
you don't.
blackness.
So name the ones in America that you follow.
Dr. Sabi.
I told you.
Listen, bro. And let me get in front of the camera.
I told you. I knew, dog.
Hold up.
Check this out. I was such a big proponent of Dr. Sabi.
I am too. I
ain't gonna lie.
I do folks.
But now, listen. Since I'm dealing in hard science, and I'm actually going to school for nursing. I realized a lot of things that he said were very unfounded. Like he didn't believe in germs.
I knew you were gonna say the germ shit.
That's bogus.
Okay.
There are germs all around us.
Allowed to make mistakes. I see.
Okay. So this is what.
That's fine. We said Dr. Sabi.
Yeah, let me specify something.
Don't bad mouth. He made you scared, man.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
That's right.
Let me just say something. Like I said when we first was debating in the alley, right? Mm-hmm. Black people have always been taking cues from white people. Just because I don't adhere or to the knowledge of someone that's in Africa does not mean by default I'm going to believe these white administrators, scientists, and or politicians and media conglomerates here. You can, as you say, chew bubblegum and walk, right? So when I hear something that's propagated by the media, whether social media or the television, it's basically word of mouth. I wrote a report, allegedly, because I hadn't seen it or read it, but the CDC releases them, and I have followed them. Mm-hmm. And out of the 85,000 people in May that died, they believed only 10 to 12%. This is their words, not mine. You can look up their reports on their website. Mm-hmm. So even them saying at the 85,000 mark, we only believe like 10% of these motherfuckers is COVID, which was 8,500, give or take, right? Now you do that over the course of what? 2 months.
Wait. We got to be very careful when we say something.
Now you spread that. No, that's actually what he said. I mean,
no, because once again, I already mentioned in the beginning. I said you do not die from COVID. Usually, you die from the complications.
So
from COVID.
Then there should be a hysteria around death and the use of wearing masks. If it's to prevent you from getting sick, like I told the white guy at a restaurant, my nigga, I've been sick. I don't need your help to prevent sickness, whether it's deathly or it's mild. I don't need that. Now, if we're talking about death, well. This guy was white, and white people, in my guesstimation, have never really been people that are giving a fuck about your life in this country, based off of what they've done.
Right.
Not by me being like, my mom's half white, so I use the argument like, I lived around white people when I was little. Mm-hmm. My mom's half white. Genetically, I understand white people. That don't mean that I haven't been privy to an upfront row seat. These motherfuckers telling the truth. Not even 0.5% of the time. That's just real.
And I have to interject. What's your Instagram name? Tehudi. Okay. Mine is one of my aliases, the emo tap. We are not prone to white messiahs. We are not looking for white messiahs over here. Okay. I just had to verify that.
Right. No. Well, let's talk about, like I said. So that's why we talk about. I said I want to bring up the so-called Western science versus, I guess, everything else.
You got a biology book, don't you?
I guess it's gonna be Western science. I guess you know what I'm saying. But one thing I wanted to bring up, I think, which is very important, is that we're not living in the year 1950. We're living in the year 2020.
Yeah, people are getting lynched like it was 1952.
Right.
But I digress.
That's true. But we have made changes. We're in the year 2020, for example, we're more globalized than, let's say, the 1950s.
How so?
Through fiber optic cable and through internet and things like that. Meaning that I can type in something and get a African server, or I can get a Chinese server, or I can get a Russian server, and I can see actually what type of information that they're actually being brought about. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not an illegal thing to do. You can look at actually a global viewpoint of whatever science you're trying to look at, right? Yeah. So with that being said, that's why I wanted to bring up the Western so-called science compared to the Eastern, African, whatever the case may be. I think for us as a people, and I say people, black people in this manner right now, we have to understand that what science is the study, it is the method, it's the methods to find truth in the natural world. Meaning that we need to have methods to find out whether something is true or not. This means that you cannot make any statement. You cannot say that hydrochloroquine kills a virus because it needs to go through a vetting process. It needs to understand what things can it do or can it not do. So when we say something as if, once again, I also want to mention about the boogeyman. The biggest boogeyman right now has been the government in this conversation. The government is the boogeyman. They lie to us. They do all these things to us. Okay, well, let's take them off the table.
Oh, can I address that before you go on? Because I don't want to get too far about it. I can just address this.
Go ahead.
I can pose a question. You got to answer it. We can keep moving. All right. People always say that. Well, we can't. We're making them the boogeyman. All right. You're a black person, right? Or whatever derivative name you like to call
Right, I'm black.
All right. From a historical standpoint, these motherfuckers have lied, have reneged, and actually have sabotaged black people.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So you believe that?
Right.
So
now, I don't believe that. That's actually evidence for that, meaning that there's actually truth with that. Yes.
And most of the time, it wasn't the KKK. It wasn't even the average white person. It was who? The government.
That used a black person.
So let's imagine.
Hold
on.
I'm gonna sum it up real tight. Because I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm gonna leave it flat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you know that based off of evidence of things that. So what are we doing? Are we going to cherry pick when we want to believe that the government is unscrupulous towards black people and brown people, and when they're not? Because we can't say, yo, they did this Jim Crow laws.
Mm-hmm.
They spanned a decade.
They definitely did that.
Hanging black people to span
did that.
200 years. We can't say government people, Democrats that
were
part of a KKK organization.
Right.
We can't say they've done that. Margaret Sanger, eugenics. These were government people in the hospitals that took cues from Margaret Sanger and Charles Darwin, which was a heavy racist towards the African, right? Mm-hmm. So we can't say that, well, there's periods of times where the government administrative body and people in positions of power have sabotaged and or did cruel, inhumane towards black people.
We don't negate that. We don't deny that.
So
we don't deny that.
But in this scenario, that's not the case. Even though we got Trump's administration, namely him. So my question is, you can't really expect a black person like myself to actually, and millions of us like me, to actually believe that there are times and periods where the administration has actually done scrupulous things, but now they're not.
Okay, so remember just a few seconds ago I said that the government is the boogeyman. So let's take them let's take them off the table.
Boogeyman is some shit that's mystical or mythical.
Okay.
This nigga that actually did stuff.
They put us in slavery and they took us out of slavery. They done that too, right? They took out slavery, right? It was a government process to make slavery illegal, right?
And both acts were evil. But
that's fine, but they did both acts. Right?
If you put people in slavery, you evil, and then if you have to take them out, you even more evil because you knew that they was in a situation that was evil.
So we understand that the government has had both issues where they have done shit to us and then they try to so-called help us.
So why believe them now?
We're not saying
I'm taking the government out of the equation. Remember that. I'm doing that. I'm saying so let's look at the academics.
But they're getting all their information from other organizations like the WHO and CDC, which your information is actually running parallel. I'm sorry, it's not
running parallel with who?
It's
what do you mean?
The CDC. Everything the CDC says about the transfer of the virus, you actually have validate.
So let's be clear with this. Let's be clear with this. To understand how the CDC operates and what their connections are to the government, we must be understand by the policies that are implemented by the president at a certain time.
But do they not relate information to his governmental administration?
Yes. I can end that right now. Trump decided to create a mandate that would make the CDC null and void.
So that's what I'm saying. The policies were created by our president
once again
to make sure that they castrated the actual science that CDC and WHO actually
he
does.
wanted them out of the equation.
Okay, maybe we could say that they don't relay information.
I didn't say they didn't relate. I'm saying that if you're castrated politically, that means you can only say certain things. That doesn't mean the science says another thing. It says you only can say this because it makes me look good.
They can send memorandums to other states.
And they did.
Okay, so that being said, we can cut out the federal government and just state by state. They're still reliant and their information is still parallel to yours.
Most of these white boys is following Trump though.
If you read that biology book,
right? If I read the biology book,
viruses, it does not say that viruses are transmitted through air. They don't. They do not.
Viruses are not transmitted.
If you, I went on.
Some viruses are aerosolized.
What do you mean?
He said you read that book, he won't say it. Okay, because he read that book.
Yes.
So he knows it's not in there.
Look it.
But wait, you saying
I haven't read that book per se.
But you saying
I know you haven't. But the open arrogance that you exemplify.
This is how confident that I'm in.
I feel you, bro.
I can guess that I'll probably be, if not 100% right. Yeah, just I leave room for human error. Okay. You know what I'm saying? 2%. If I'm not 100%. Yes. Gotcha. Hey, look at this. 2% is actually on how I'm interpreted.
I got you.
But I can bet that I'm probably either 100% or I'm in the ballpark. I'm in the ballpark. Use close intimate contact, ingestion.
Here we go, 3 for 24.
Exactly. Not through air because of any virus needs a host. It's not a bacteria. It's not. They're not even the same. I had a white dude say, well, some viruses can mutate, or bacteria can mutate in a virus. It cannot. A bacteria is an organism, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know that. We don't know if it's alive or not.
No, you actually can prove it.
No, we can't.
Wait, hold on.
I can.
No.
He said you can.
No. I got a real simple question.
I'm gonna tell you how bacteria
what is something? How do you
organisms?
How is something defined as being alive?
Exactly.
Oh. Once again,
exactly.
No, I'm not doing any mental gymnastics. I'm asking you a simple question.
Is a dog alive?
Define.
I'm gonna ask you questions.
Yes, the dog is alive.
Okay, but I can tell you why the dog is alive.
Exactly. I can
tell you why. I can say the
yes,
same.
it does matter. I can tell you why it's alive.
I can say the same thing for a virus.
No, you can't, because a virus is not considered a living thing.
Exactly.
Oh, no, my bad, not a virus. A bacteria.
Bacteria definitely living because why?
Bacteria is living.